Unless you're like Warren Buffett is looking at 30, 40 years down the road. He's talking 30 years down the road. He's 89. So I like his optimism.
Clint is asking, I'm a wholesaler. Do you think my wholesaling days are over?
No, not necessarily. We made a lot of money in 2008 and 9. It wasn't exactly wholesaling. It was we would buy properties, rehab them, and then sell them and carry financing to people whose credit were not the best. And we created incredible success stories, both from those who bought the discounted notes from us, those whom we placed in homes. We have success stories on originalresourcesinc.com. You can see the success stories even in Sacramento, in the Midwest, all over. But wholesaling is an awesome way to make money. We done some training for some people on wholesaling, and we can help people if they want to do that. The key thing is you have to have in every strategy, and I said that in the previous Q&A training call that we did a few days ago, you got to have a plan A, B, and C. So in wholesaling, plan A is you're going to tie up some properties, you're going to assign them. That's the ideal scenario. If not, your plan B should be, okay, if I'm going to, now it's a good deal, I'm going to then buy it and maybe rehab it and then sell it rehab. Plan C may be I'm going to buy it, rehab it, and rent it. And it's going to bring X in cash flow. So every one of these scenarios got to work based on numbers. It's not a fantasy. This is like people right now are buying stocks in the stock market. They don't even know what they're buying. It's fantasy. They're just throwing darts. Oh, Delta, I'll buy Delta. Oh, United, I'll buy United. Yeah, because they're going to be bailed out by the government. Well, guess what? One could be going out of business. How do you know? What do you know about that? If you don't know the business, you don't know anything. That's why I don't do any more trainings for stocks and options, because I realize people do not follow the trainings we were giving them. So we focused on real estate because it's very basic numbers. You don't have to be genius with numbers. 2 + 2 is 4. I'm going to rent it. It's going to cost me 100,000. Let's say it's in Ohio or something. Okay, you got it for 80. Going to fix it for X. It's going to be 100, but it's going to bring 10,000 in rent. So that's 10%. 10,000 net in rent. That's net operating income. Same formula on apartment buildings. If I can get 10%, I'm buying. Heck, the interest rate is less than 4% right now. So how can you go wrong? How? Get a Section 8 tenant. I mean, know what you're doing. Have be in an area where there is some demand, there is some employers, etc. Yeah, but yeah, what we're doing is assignment of contracts on commercial, which is the best way to start in commercial real estate. I mean, there is nothing better that I can suggest for somebody to start in commercial real estate than this program, because it's easy to calculate the numbers. I am the buyer already. I bought them for years. It's not some fantasy. It's a business model that works. Moreover, we have done the training extensively and kind of worked out every possible scenario and detail with it. So, okay.
Overall, are you seeing national tenants putting their growth on hold or not willing to sign long-term leases?
Yeah, there is just, I want to mention, there's just a little delay right now because still May is wobbly. So what the national tenants have been telling us is, let's talk again in June. Let's talk in June. Let's talk in May 20th. So they're buying time to make decisions because it's a credit committee decision in these places. But no, they definitely want to continue growing. There's no doubt the right tenants are growing. Yes.
Gunter is asking, should I take my investments out of the stock market and put it into real estate opportunities? And there's actually a follow-up, which is actually very similar. And that question is from Fayaz Razak. Do you have a program where I can invest and be a passive investor? I think you can answer both of those questions kind of together.
Okay, yeah, of course, take your money out of the stock market. Unless you're like Warren Buffett, is looking at 30, 40 years down the road. He's still talking 30, 40 years down. He actually was just being interviewed a few days ago, and he's talking 30 years down the road. He's 89. So I like his optimism, and this is wonderful. And yes, 30 years down the road, you're building, if you bought a building instead of stock, your building will be paid off. Even if it didn't go up a penny in value, the tenants paid it off. So, and the replacement cost is going to be higher. Needless to say, it has to go up in value. So yeah, I would definitely not put money in stocks unless you're going to put it in Berkshire Hathaway or the S&P 500, and you have an outlook of 30 years. Now, remember, in the Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett stock, he pays 0 dividend. This is not cash flow thing. This is just like Instead of putting it in gold, you put it with Berkshire Hathaway. You'll be better off. And there's just no cash flow. It's not a productive asset. Ironically, Warren Buffett talks about don't invest in anything that is not a productive asset, doesn't bring income. But his fund doesn't pay a penny in dividends, hasn't paid a penny for over 40 some years in dividends. But the stock eventually it goes up and down with the vicissitudes of the market changes in prices. And if you don't approach this with equanimity and not worry about it, I mean, from the uptick to the downtake, the Warren Buffett's stock, Berkshire Hathaway, has dropped from uptick to downtake 50% 3 times in its history. Look it up. So if you were on margin, if you had some debt with that margin in the stock market, you would have been wiped out. So no, I wouldn't do stocks. There is nothing better than actually real estate. My fund, if you want to invest passively, yeah, my fund has been up and running for 11 years. We've never missed a payment. We are the money that gets invested in the fund, MIGSIF, you can look it up, MIGSIF, Medawar International Group Secured Income Fund.com. And we also have SFI Fund, which is Secured Fixed Income Fund. You can go sfifund.com and you could see, but go to MIGSIF because it's been running the longest, 11 years. And we pay the same from both funds. SFI Fund allows us to publicly solicit people, and we also have co-sponsors, whole nother program. We have incredible students with us that help us grow. But the MIGSIF, if you look at it, you go online, you'll see we pay 8%, all right? And people reinvest the money. So if you expect over 30 years an 8% per year in the stock market, why do you have to go through the vagaries of the up and down in the stock market when you can do it with my fund in real estate, where number one, your money is cross-collateralized against all the assets in the fund. We're diversified by location, by type of investing, and by type of assets. And I mean, go to MIGSIF itself and take a look at what we say and the videos and success stories. So yeah, definitely invest with us passively. And not only that, you have your money cross-collateralized against all the assets. That means it's not just secured against one building. Like you invest in any fund, they're secured against one building. I charge no fees, no acquisition fee, no management fee, no disposition fee. You get the 8% net. And if you're in a retirement account and you're reinvesting it, it compounds. We have people that doubled their money in the last 8-9 years. I was just looking at one of my investors. She had put 250,000. She has over 550 now. She's been with us almost 10 years. That's phenomenal. She was hoping the 250 will just be preserved so she can send her kids to college. Well, guess what? Even with inflation and all this, she can definitely send the kids to college. Yeah, and also I want to add one thing. When people cash out of my fund, they're not stuck like other funds, like other private funds. They're stuck 5 to 7 years. With us, they can cash out within 12 months. We've cashed out a lot of people within 6 months, etc. So pretty simple.
And people can actually see your filing with the SEC. I mean, there's a link directly to it from the MIGSIF website, which I think is pretty cool.
You can go to MIGSIF.com, scroll all the way down, click on the SEC filing. You will see the assets. You see every single transaction we've done from 2009 to right now, 2020. Every single transaction has been profitable. Every single one. Okay, transacted in hundreds of millions in these. Also, it shows you everything. And this is what the regulators are saying based on an audit for everything, because we're going to a bigger fund, the Reg A+. I don't want to confuse people with it, but it's all disclosed right there.
Yeah.
And the leverage is very low. We don't use much leverage and pretty good cash flow.